welcome back to the channel. Thanks again so much for all subscribers, comments backwards and forwards. It's been really entertaining. I'm really enjoying this experience, so again, thank you so much. If you get the opportunity, please subscribe. Trying to upload videos quite frequently, so turn on the notification bells, give me a like. Any comments, feel free, I'll try and answer as soon as I can. Anyway, this video is about the team colourways of the Puma Clyde All Pro. But the Puma Clyde All Pro had a couple of things that were not 100%, and I feel like they've actually addressed that very well with this shoe, and I'll show you exactly what it is I'm referring to. So these actually were online for extremely cheap off Amazon, and when I seen it, I knew they were coming out. I knew they were on BSTN for like £85 I think it was, and I just had a little Google search as you do, and I seen them on Amazon and it was priced lower, so I clicked on it, selected different sizes, and lo and behold I managed to get these for an absolute steal. So when they arrived this morning, I was pleasantly surprised. It was very similar. Obviously it's the same shoe, but there is changes, and I think going back to the previous video I had mentioned that what Puma were doing in the market in regards to listening to the players, the consumers, any issues they might have had. I feel like they've done that with this shoe. I mean, the Clyde All Pro is a fantastic shoe. Like I'm saying, it's going to be one of the greatest when we look back on it in years to come, and it is one of the greatest performers right now in the market. But they've taken some certain things and they've kind of tweaked it. So I'm going to go over it as per normal, just treat it as if it's a different shoe, but at the same time point out all the things that they've kind of just tweaked from the previous model. So to start off with, the traction, the exact same. There's no real difference to the traction on the shoe at all. The only thing I would say is different is that this little area here at the back with the blade set up, there's actually no little windows anymore, so you can't actually see the P-backs puck. Now I did try and have a look in underneath the insole, and I can't really see it, so I'm kind of in question, have they taken it out? I don't see any reason why they would take it out. However, because you can't see it, you can certainly feel it, but because you can't see it, I'm like, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it's there. I don't have any other reason to think that why would they take that out, you know, it's still the same shoe. But ultimately, they've just kind of covered that over. Still the same, you've got your outrigger there, give you some sort of kind of lateral stability. Nothing's real changed with that. The midsole, still soft. The Profoam Plus, really nice stuff, and it works perfectly fine. So again, in that area there, no real changes. So the main change with this shoe is really the upper, and there's quite a lot what they've done. Well, they did have the Matrix Evo Tech, which was really nice, exposed a lot of different features in the shoe and the technology within the knit. And what they've done is they've actually just used this kind of cheap, kind of fused paneling. Now, these being the team colourways, it's just a downgraded version of the original. They've done that with the Clyde Hardwood. On the front half of the shoe was the knit, the back half was the leather, and the team colourways, they changed it to synthetic at the back, and it was like almost like a papery kind of synthetic material at the front. Still comfortable, maybe not as hard wearing and as plush as what the 90s vibes you were getting from that shoe. This one is pretty much the same, so they've actually done a really nice job. There's 3 synthetic panels here, and it's all fused together with this fused material. It kind of reminds me of the same material they used on the Fusion Nitro Spectra. It's flexible, it's lightweight, there's nothing really changed in that regards. However, one drawback that I can potentially see from this shoe, under certain light, particularly this part here, it kind of looks a lot creamy coloured, like darker. So I think over time, any UV exposure, it might yellow over time. However, under this light, it looks perfectly fine. In some lights, it does look a bit darker than normal. The actual front part of the shoe is a nice material. It's not the plushest, but it's certainly not the cheapest feeling. This panel here does feel a lot more hard wearing than what you would expect compared to the hardwood model. The hardwood model did feel a bit papery, a bit cheap feeling. This one doesn't. This one definitely feels a little bit plusher. This middle section here, I think what they've done is they went for breathability because it is transparent. If I put my finger through there, yeah, you can definitely see through there. But but that kind of reminds me of the Jordan 4s, the little kind of crisscross pattern there. And then here, they've got the cushion element around your heel, which is obviously quite important for stability as well. But they've just layered over this really transparent, similar to the middle panel. And then from there and there, they've just kind of fused it all together. So they have downgraded the material in regards to cost. You can clearly see that. But it's actually, it's nice. It doesn't feel that cheap. It still feels like well done. So for the price of £85, the retail price, it does feel really. The other thing that I wanted to mention, which is still including the part with the eyelets. So the eyelets were a bit of an issue, and I mentioned in the last video, people had been reporting when they tried to tighten the shoe quite tight, the actual eyelet wires were snapping. Obviously a bit of a problem when you're going to tighten your shoe. You just need to kind of watch what you're doing and not pull too hard. Now, the other thing about the shoe is that when they've put that fused paneling on there, that solved that issue. Obviously go through the materials, then it goes through the fuse attached to the shoe, so on and so forth. So that has been rectified. But the tongue is not as padded as what the original All Pro is. But what they also have done, I'll get a photograph to show you this, is they've actually made this into like a sock liner inside. And they've made an elasticated attachment, if you will, onto the footbed. Now, although this is a good thing, so your tongue's not going to slip down to the side, it does kind of make it a little bit more narrower inside the shoe. So when you put your foot in, it kind of makes it that little bit more snug. I found it okay. I didn't find it much of a problem, but I do know there is people that would probably have issues with that, so I just thought I'd maybe mention that. The sock liner itself, it's quite thin. It's not really thick, but having that extra bonus of containment and the fact you've got some sort of kind of protection there from the tongue slipping to the side and then having to fix it when you're playing or even just walking around, then that is definitely a plus point. The other thing that's been done, so obviously the Matrix Evo Tech had carbon fibre stitching in there to give you some sort of kind of lateral support, containment in the areas that were needing a wee bit more backup for durability reasons. Toe drag area is a fused panel now. You've got a lateral containment patch there instead of having the carbon wire through the Matrix Evo knit. So they have obviously looked at areas that not necessarily need improvement, but definitely need some sort of reinforcement. And this patch here for the lateral containment and the heel tab is synthetic. Now, when you pull this down, you can see that it's just like a kind of cheap, cost-effective material, which is fair enough. But when you actually touch the grey panel, it actually feels not too bad. It doesn't feel that cheap. I would probably say it's more on the higher end of the cheap materials. So yeah, I mean, for that reason alone, you can see what they've done, you can see what they've tried to do. But yeah, it's still a great shoe, still feels the same, doesn't change anything, it's just more or less the look and the cost part for obviously for Puma themselves, you know. But it's a really great shoe. I'm still in the honeymoon phase, shall we say, in regards to this shoe. I don't think my opinion is going to change very much. I've ordered the same colourway but with the black Puma logo, and there is also a black colourway as well. Which then leads me on to a couple of mock-ups that I put up myself. So with the Matrix Evo Tech, I mentioned that was one of the major factors for me being attracted to that shoe, was just the way it looked aesthetically. Some of the colourways that came out were really nice. I felt that there was maybe one or two more they could have brought out into the market. One or two that they did bring out were a little bit the same. But yeah, I mean, overall very happy. But I'm going to show you this picture just now. This is a couple of shoes that I've actually just kind of had a wee mock-up on. Obviously some of the players that are sponsored by Puma at the moment. They are with the Boston Celtics, Charlotte Hornets, LA Lakers. So that top row there, just kind of looking at more team colourways. I think they would be good sellers just based on the current market. The middle row, darken it down a little bit. I think they really missed a trick, Puma, with an all blacked out colourway of the Clyde All Pro. I think having little kind of grey tones within the knit would really make the features pop out as well. And then the Kuzma one was really nice in a way, but in a way it was very, it just felt like the runt of the litter, if you will. To me, I just didn't really get the appeal of it. But the gum sole, I did get that appeal. So having a black one with a gum sole is always a nice addition. And then the bottom row, just a couple other ones that I felt that just to kind of brighten things up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm quite enthusiastic about this shoe, if you can't tell already. However, this downgraded model is, you can get this on Amazon. I paid £23 for this shoe. The black colourway and the black logo are roughly £50 a pair. So right away on Amazon, you're getting like £35 off the shoe, which is a steal. They're not even on the Puma website yet. Whether they'll come out in the future, I'm guessing they would, but Amazon are selling these at the moment. You've got them on BSTN, like I mentioned before. There is one or two other websites, I believe, that have them. There's also the high top version, or sorry, the mid version. I'm not a massive fan of it. I prefer low tops personally. I do have some of the Sky Dreamers, Sky Moderns, but this one in particular, I just prefer the low. So yeah, that's the Puma Clyde All Pro update. It's the team colourways. Right now I only have the red, there's R2 coming on their way. But yeah, you can let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Again, please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. It's still the same shoe, materials just slightly different. If you're looking for more of a budget or you missed the previous shoes that were released, by all means get yourself a pair of these. There's not really much difference. However, if you tend to go true to size and you find it a bit snug, you might need to get one or two pairs just to kind of get the right fit for you, because that internal sock liner does make it a little bit thicker in regards to the materials at the front part of the shoe compared to the first model that came out. Again, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll upload another video as soon as I can.